Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to share the story of how I've traveled to 25 different cities and 11 countries for less than 40 bucks a night. This is something I've been doing for about 3 years now, and it saved me tens of thousands of dollars. It's something fairly easy to accomplish, but no one quite talks about it. And here we go. And just to recap about myself, I'm a mid-20s senior software developer, and I would say I've been living my pretty idealistic dream life. I've been working remotely and have been able to effectively quadruple my standard of living by living in cheaper, more desirable places outside of America. And I have been able to save and invest a significant amount because of it. In the channel, I want to show you how I did it and show you it's not too hard. Now, a concept that will be a recurring topic on my channel will be the idea of Geo Arbitrage. This is typically a financial word where you take a security, let's say like Bitcoin, and you would trade it between two different exchanges, where one might be cheaper and one might be more expensive. The result of such a transaction would be like an infinite money glitch, where you buy Bitcoin, say like 10 grand on one, and you sell it for 11 grand on the other. And you just keep doing that all day, and yeah, basically infinite money. Now, eventually people catch on to the arbitrage, and they kind of, patch it out of existence. And you have a very efficient market, so you cannot do it with anything done electronically at this point anymore. I will go into more detail about how I've implemented Geo Arbitrage in the next video, but it closely relates to what I have for this topic. I currently estimate that a good hotel and a good Airbnb in a city center, regardless of the actual location, because hotels and Airbnb is about the same everywhere you go, of course, with exception of like New York City. But they come out to about 150 to 200 a night. And by my estimates, I have lived outside of my primary base about 365 days total while traveling in a HomeExchange. So given a $150 a night estimate, about 54 grand per that number. And if we're going to use a 200 a night, it'll be about 73 grand. All saved because I've been using the platform. Now a little quick and dirty estimate. Let's say I don't spend half the year at my primary base, and I spend about 150 per night. So that comes out to about 27K, and then 27K compounded annually for 30 years is a couple million. So for a headline number, let's say I've saved 73 grand, traveled the world, and how did I do it? Well, the quick answer is HomeExchange. HomeExchange is a platform where you can exchange your home with other people on a platform, or you can basically rent it out for what they call guest points. Now, it's pretty cool. There's an annual membership, I think about 175 to 200, depending on the promotional offer you can get. There are no taxable events, and you can use it on your own rental, meaning that you do not have to own the property to partake in home exchanging. There's a concept among digital nomads of having a base. A base is being a location that you might keep your tax residence in, a long-term rental, or have family and friends nearby. And in my opinion, this is the optimal way to travel, where you have a long-term rental where you can keep all of your stuff. Like, many digital nomads are basically homeless when they're traveling around in a suitcase or two. Now, it's very cool because you can actually participate in a long-term rental contract, meaning that you get a steep discount compared to short-term rentals. When I started doing all of this, my rent and utilities combined is effectively $1,200 a month for a 2-bedroom, which comes out to 40 a night, and that's how I got my title. So for 40 a night, I've been able to trade with many other people on the platform and have visited the 25 or so different cities. During the past 3 years on the platform, I've never had a complaint or a problem, Except for, here and there you have like a boomer couple that literally can't use WhatsApp or something. And I have been to, I think, about 40 different apartments in the same time period. But it's very cool because usually when you try to plan a trip, you're always focused on the cost of it. And there have been places where I would never consider going if I had not had a home exchange point. One big example I have is where I traveled to New York City. I stayed in basically a brand new apartment. It was a one bedroom, cost about 1 million on Zillow. Stayed there for about 2 weeks, and it was a very cool conversion. I charged people in my apartment like 220 guest points, and I got charged 170 guest points to stay in New York City. The place had a pool. I was on like the 78th floor or something. And yeah, I effectively took my 40 bucks a night, and I think I had like a 8x multiple. So that if that apartment was on Airbnb, it would be about 320 to 350 a night. And because of my home exchange and Geo Arbitrage, I got it down to 40 a night. Now, I got lucky the first time doing this entire home exchange event where I have a long term rental in a very popular tourist destination while also it not costing too much. It's cool because I'm able to go to places like London or Copenhagen where the rents are much higher, but it's not really a tourist location. But effectively, I've been able to check out a much more expensive city while not having to worry about any type of con that comes with that. Now, in addition to home exchange, I have a couple other money saving tips I utilize every time I travel. The first one being is spending approximately 1 week in each location. You get to enjoy the entire city, take your time, try out multiple different restaurants, and often enough save a good amount of money because you're not clogging up a, say, a famous museum or like the Eiffel Tower or something. You can go during a weekday. Now, my second tip primarily applies to European cities, as most North American ones you kind of need a car, but it is to live close to the city center and do not rent a car. Usually, by living in the city center, you can have groceries, restaurants, and public transportation nearby, and you save about, let's say, 40 bucks a day by not having a car. Third tip is to utilize the budget airlines such as like Ryanair, EasyJet, and Wizz Air. And you effectively can travel around to different cities for about 50 bucks a pop, assuming that you don't have an additional carry-on. Tip number 4, given that you're in a home exchange, you will always have a kitchen accessible to you. This gives you the option not to eat out and to cook healthier food if you're on a diet. Tip number 5, use Claude or ChatGPT to help you figure out what you're going to do in the city. Usually there are always free walking tours, but yeah, using an AI chatbot has, in my opinion, basically replaced a travel agency unless you're like a boomer. Now, if you're just starting and assuming that you don't have your own apartment to put on home exchange, I'll give you a couple tips. The first one being, I would choose a place that has a digital nomad community because that implies that a lot of people are coming and going and that you can trade with them because usually people that travel have money, and to have money you got to live in a more expensive location like London, Geneva, New York. So by having it in, let's say, Bali, for example, you can trade your way up and get probably a higher multiple than myself. You also want to, I would choose a 2 bedroom apartment. A 2 bedroom apartment gives much more flexibility because families can stay by and you're not limited to just single people. As a tip, try to find a furnished apartment in a central or public transportation route. and having a cleaner to help you maintain the property between guests and to hand over the key in any other type of matter. And I think that'll be it for this video. Be sure to stick around if you want to learn more about how I've utilized Geo Arbitrage, the journey of starting a remote business from scratch, other topics about being a digital nomad, and other financial experiments. Be sure to leave any question in the comment, or you can email me, and I'll try to get back to you. Well, until next time.